You know, My Hero Academia, they have been probably on one of the biggest rolls the past few months, the past year, like hell, man. Dude, this story so far is so good, and I'm still questioning where the story is going to go because there, Horikoshi, man, Horikoshi. Everybody predicted we would be getting the breakout arc, and you would think this arc would take like maybe multiple chapters. Maybe the aftermath of this is probably gonna be the multiple chapters part. But we would all think like this breakout, this Tartarus prison breakout would be like, maybe a few, like maybe 3 or 4 chapters. They literally broke these guys out in one chapter. Now, when you look at the fact that obviously Shigarachi's new body and everything, but it, man, this chapter was insane, and it was definitely freaking crazy. Holy crap. We see returning members, well, mostly two of the League of Villains. And then at the end, what else can I say? Let's get into this. This is My Hero Academia manga chapter 297, titled Tartarus. Now, the first panel essentially gives a quick rundown of what Tartarus Prison is and what it does, essentially to Supermax Prison. It's essentially the same thing. And the way they, I guess, handle it, it was similar to like how One Piece does Impel Down. If you ever watched or read One Piece, they say like the worst people are the worst villains are usually at the freaking bottom depths. Which, like, if you remember from One Piece, in Impel Down, they keep the most infamous pirates in level 6, where is like essentially the bottom of the prison and stuff like that. So 8:30 or 8:34 at the mainland gate, or what they call the Bronze Gate, this one person gives a report. He calls up for, I'm guessing, these two heroes' names called Brarios and Gyges. Now Gyges actually picks up. Now he looks interesting. He looks like he has like multiple limbs, and he's got like some kind of mass, along with looking like some kind of ram. Now he goes on to say, to tell the people who are calling into him, like, yo, trigger the code red alert. We're getting attacked. Brarios, who is my brother, they killed him. And we need a code red like now, like desperately, which is to alert the entire prison that they're under attack and stuff like that. Now, Shigarachi is there, and eventually, well, Shigarachi, controlled by All For One, he eventually fires off an EMP wave. Now, in B10, which is the deepest level of the Tartarus prison, we have these two heroes have a talk and stuff like that. And they're talking about the fact that Gigantomachia is freaking capturing the fact that that Tartarus is going to be his new prison. Well, for now. Well, not for now, and stuff like that. Now, this hero actually brings up a point. Well, not a point, but he brings up an interesting thing to talk about. Now, he goes on to say, why couldn't they kill Gigantomachia and stuff like that? But the other person replies, listen, guns are useless against a giant like him. And because, they don't want to fire him. He's human. They don't want to fire a missile to him and have like his bloods, like essentially, I would say blow all over the freaking place and stuff like that. So yeah. Now, the guy replying to that, he's like, a human? Hardly. He's more like a disaster on legs or a beast. Just like the rest of the animals we got locked up here. Well, no, he said he's just like the rest. Just like the rest of the villains caught up in here, they're all animals and stuff like that. Now the other guy says, listen, you might need to shut up because we could be recording and stuff like that, or we're being recorded and things like that. He goes on to say the Hearts and Mind Party may be dissolved, but its factions won't let this golden chance pass them by. And we got our hands full with accusations of human rights violations. You don't know where something will be leaked from. So, there's and then the guy ends off by saying, but you know I'm right though. So, okay. That one, I guess, person in the prison, I don't know if he's a hero, which I'm guessing he is. He must be a hero. Again, it goes to show you that some heroes have different stances than the prototypical hero that should have a stance of trying to protect the public. You know, this guy openly said, why the heck are we keeping these dudes in here? Why not just kill them and get rid of them and not make it and get it to the point where they're not becoming so much of a nuisance? And it's like, well, that's not good in the public eye, because if you have freaking heroes killing villains, you know, the public might be like, well, then wouldn't that consider you guys as villains as well? And stuff like that. You know, and that thing, and it also seems too, it seems like the guy is also not bringing up, I guess, the fact that what's going on with the accusations of Endeavor, but it seems like from what I got from that one dialogue speech, is saying that there may be some things in Tartaros that they're being accused of, and they're violating like human rights. Maybe this is the way they're treating the prisoners or something like that. I don't know. But you know, he does make a good point. He's like, listen, dude, we need to keep our freaking heads low and our downs low and keep it quiet, because if this information gets leaked, we're gonna be in some trouble. So I wonder, is Tartaros prison members doing wrong things, dirty things that they're not supposed to be doing within this human rights violation that they're supposed to upend, or, you know, I guess you can say live by, but they're not doing those, you know, guidelines or following those rules. Interesting point. Again, another thing breaking down in hero society, and we see that there's some heroes that are breaking the freaking rules. So yeah. Anyways, the guy goes on to say they might walk and talk like people, but the disgusting beings only managed to mingle with society as long as they did, because quirks have warped the standards for humanity. And then there's one panel, you see people like Moonface. We see one guy locked up. We later find out that was actually Muscular. We see some new character. She's a chick. She looks absolutely stunning, no lie, she's hot. We see this one guy who I believe is Overhaul, because I do not see an arm on him. So I think that's Overhaul. We see Kurogiri, you know, Aizawa's friend who was transformed into him. And then we see, I believe in the corner of this, Stain, who did not make an appearance other than maybe that one point. Anyways, the code red security alert goes off. They're sealing like every friggin' door. I'm like seeing this, I'm like, just because you seal all these doors doesn't mean anything, and stuff like that. Now, what happens, they're also locking up the gate and stuff like that, and they come to some of the people come to realizing maybe the reason why they escaped is to come here and stuff like that. So what's happening is the bridge essentially is being lowered, and it's like sinking into the water and stuff like that. So then this thing called Codis deploys, and they're targeting like the Nomus to kill and stuff like that. Then you have Shigarashi on Nomu's back. And this is when you have another, I guess, internal battle between Shigarashi and All For One. Now Shigarachi's like, get out of here, this is my freaking body. Now, All For One is like, oh, so now you're awake, Tomura. I hope you had a good rest. He goes on to say that hyper regeneration isn't working very well, and I need you to be healthy. Shigarashi replies by saying, but you're the one who said to give my body a break. And All For One's like, yeah, but I'll do that after I do my thing that I need to do. And Shigarashi again replies by saying, give me my damn body back. But then All For One is like, oh, but wasn't it you who desired my power? You spat upon the world that didn't so much extend you a helping hand, and you desired the strength to make good on your hatred. This is the result of your powerful will you brought this all about what really matters and stuff like that. Essentially, he's telling him, well, you're the one who wanted my powers, so you could turn on the world and destroy the world in your own image and stuff like that. Now, Shigarashi, he eventually, it looks like he takes off the hand off his face, and he's like, I will not be your freaking pawn. And that's when All For One replies by saying, like, pawn? You got it all wrong, Tomura. You're so very near and dear to me. And honestly, type of a symbolic way. One, Shigarashi puts his hands down and he activates the EMP wave to essentially shut down the prison's, mainframe and make sure they can't get power back. But there's this one panel in the manga chapter where it looks like it has All For One's hands and all these strings, just tied up with Shigarashi just tied up. And it just goes to show you that even though All For One is saying, I'm not using you as my puppet or my pawn, he really kind of is, and he's just using Shigarashi for his real main purpose. And that's to free his body and eventually take over Japan and be the true ultimate leader. He doesn't want Shigarashi to be the leader because we know All For One is really a selfish individual. And I feel like this is why I feel like he's using Shigarashi, and that's why I feel like Deku eventually is going to have to save Shigarashi from himself, which it won't make Shigarashi, realize all the actions he's done wrong. He's still going to be a bad guy. But the least thing is Deku can be like, listen, Deku will be the first person to extend, his hand to Shigarashi. Now, albeit, but that will make Shigarashi change. We're just going to see in the time being. But when I saw this panel, I'm like, bruh, this looks like, it's like Venom, dude. All For One is the Venom symbiote, and Shigarashi's just the host. And it literally looks like in the panel, if I could show you, and I'm not going to show you because I don't want to get copyright stricken, but if you go look at the panel, it's got All For One's hands, one on bottom, one on top, just like this. And if I could have string with it, it's like wrapping around Shigarashi and holding him against his will, essentially, and stuff like that. So what happens is the tower ended up decaying. He ends up decaying the tower, the main tower and stuff like that, or the guard tower and stuff like that. Now, All For One's body is like literally really like, at the deepest levels of Tartaros, which isn't shocking and stuff like that. And he goes on to say, even if I decayed the entire structure, leaving my body untouched, the crushing water pressure would eventually kill him. So yeah, that's crazy. Now he goes on to say that Tartarus, how obnoxious, bringing Makio alive would have barely helped, not when they have the resources to respond so decisively. And even if this new body had been perfected, invading from the outside of the prison would still be a tall order. Essentially, what All For One in Shigarashi's body is saying, listen, this would have been very freaking difficult if this new body was perfected, because Tartaros can just essentially counteract everything because there's a supermax prison. They're prepared for what if scenarios for this and stuff like that. Now, it cuts back, so I'm guessing the mainframe area. And anyways, one of the people say the monitoring system's down, has been hit by some sort of EMP attack, which was obviously what Shigarashi did, or All For One did. Now they try to put up the backup system, but it ain't working. The backup system is not even activating and stuff like that. And then two, you have some inmates starting to realize, oh wait, I have access to my powers back. So then it cuts over back to the scene, if you remember, a long time ago, where All For One was talking to All Might, saying like, even I would have a tough time struggling against this particular god. No, you can't get out at all. You were mostly right, All Might. That is, unless my operation both inside and out was coordinated and in sync, and as if though a shared awareness. Which, again, I still feel like I want to be shocked. The reason why All For One wanted Shigarashi to get his All For One power is so he can be able to have some control of Shigarashi's body to go to the prison and break out his original friggin' body out of the prison. He knew he couldn't break out of the prison from the interior or have Shigarashi come break him out of the prison from the outside. So he came with a thing like, if I can freaking, get a hold of the outside world and then somebody can release me simultaneously while I'm inside the prison, then that's an easy breakout, guys. So, anyways, the system's not coming back. They sent out their suppression squads, but it's a little too late. And in the net, this one person comes crashing in, and lo and behold, we haven't seen this guy since season 3, since Deku took him out with almost everything, and was the main reason why Deku's arms were shattered in season 3 in the first half. And Muscular is freaking back. And when I was reading this chapter with him, I was complete. I was like, oh man, Muscular's back. So Muscular's back. This dude is completely back. You can see still from the damage that happened from way back against Deku. Like his little robotic eye, that's gone. Like it is gone. It looks like his muscular arm is all kind of messed up too and everything from what Deku did when he punched it as well, which is freaking insane. So Muscular's out. Then Moonface is going on his little attack, and if you don't remember who Moonface was, he's the guy that Bakugo and Todoroki defeated, along with Black Shadow of Tokoyami, from what I remember. He's essentially doing his little teeth thing, and it doesn't matter who it is. He's cutting up not only other freaking suppression squad members, but even other inmates. And you have this other inmate who's like, damn it, I just got out of my cell. And now he's probably going to die. Then we see this one interesting chick. Now she goes on to say, and she's a prisoner. She goes on to say the system isn't responding to quirks. What's this world coming to? Now she starts to hear this like banging up against this jail door and stuff like that. So she's like, darn it. And like I said, they didn't give her a name. The only tag they identify her is like she's, I guess, inmate 656698. I guess from C block 46. So she goes over to this door, even though she looks reluctantly to open the door again. This girl looks cute as hell. Or not cute, hot as hell. So I don't know who her name. They don't give her what her name is, but she could be maybe a future villain down the road. So she opens up this door, and this guy falls down, and this guy says boss. And the one thing, if you look at a panel, this guy's sleeves are kind of like flopping. And what is one guy we know who kind of doesn't have arms? Overhaul. So I'm thinking, and I think too, because I think the scar mark, I'm gonna have to look back at season 4, but I believe he had a scar mark on his forehead. And so Overhaul is back. Now, what he does, no clue. But my only guess is we'll have to see if he does something. So maybe this girl helps him, and I don't know. Maybe I'm guessing he's gonna do some sort of anti-hero thing where he, is. I don't know what they're gonna do with Overhaul going forward. We don't know. Overhaul could definitely, try to exact his revenge on Shigarashi for what Shigarashi did to him. So, maybe it could be some sort of anti-hero type of thing. We don't know. But it seems like they could be tying this girl to Overhaul from what it is and stuff like that. So what happens next is, since the bridge is down, the villain's like, we can't go anywhere if there's no bridge and stuff like that. So what happens is, this voice says, if it's freedom you desire, then submit to me, my brethren, and bear witness to my side. Now it shows quick little flush of Muscular's face, and he's like, Shigarashi, and the manga chapter ends off with Shigarashi looking at the body of All For One. And All For One says, this impending void era will give rise to a more perfect demon lord. This will be the story of how I became the greatest demon lord of all. And that's when the manga chapter ends off. The next manga chapter, I will say, without a shadow of a doubt, there is no 2-week break. So for you My Hero Academia fans, no 2-week break. You'll get the next manga chapter, 298, next week. Oh my goodness. I legit didn't have I had chills down my spine, but I was shocked. All For One is out, and Shigarashi alongside him with the same powers as him. are together. Now, there's huge speculation that Shigarashi will try to kill All For One's main body, and maybe that will erase his essence within him. That could still be a very much possibility. But it also seems like, I guess you can say, One For All is essentially telling Shigarashi, serve under me while I become the supreme ruler of the world, which is not shocking that All For One wants to rule the world and be what he calls what he called the greatest demon lord of all, because he wants it all for himself. And it's just crazy. Now he's viewing himself as a demon type of being. Man, this was a good chapter. Again, there's foreshadowings to what maybe can happen for the storyline of, I guess, this girl and Overhaul, who will probably be paired together. We don't know what's gonna happen. Shigarashi could get in control back of his body and attack All For One, and finish him off, and maybe erase the essence, and he has full control. We're just going to find out, but this is crazy. Now we have 2 All For One powered users out in the free world and can do whatever they want. And again, this is going to be insane for the story of future. I still believe our heroes are going to have to retreat. I don't know where they're going to focus back to the heroes, but man, things are not looking good, and not looking good at all. So yeah, anyways guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys like this video. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this manga chapter of My Hero Academia. What are your thoughts on what was given here? What do you think about this new girl? And I'm guessing, like I said, it's probably more than likely Overhaul. What do you think they might do? Do you think they might team up and maybe go against Shigarashi, maybe be like anti-hero type of beings? Something similar to, I guess, Stain. We actually didn't see Stain either. We didn't see Stain released, so maybe Stain could be coming out soon as well. So maybe he can make an appearance in the next chapter. We're just gonna have to see. Do you think Shigarashi will end up getting control of his body and kill the main body of All For One? We'll just have to find out. Anyways, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more My Hero Academia content. And yeah, so till then guys, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day or night. I want to check out this video. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there and have a great rest of your day. So till then guys, peace. Okay, sorry. There's one point I actually have to make. It's going back to the one chick we saw earlier in the chapter, the new chick. I forgot to bring up the fact what her powers could potentially be. What I've seen on social media, some YouTube comments in terms of other people's reviews of this chapter, it seems like she could have some sort of electricity quirk or something like that. Some sort of quirk that can, I guess, deal or mess with technology. Who knows what that quirk is? We'll just have to find out when we get more information on her. But again, there's a reason why they showed her, so it seems like she's going to be a very important character going forward. And then the one thing I did forget to mention about Overhaul breaking out, we don't know, like I said, we don't know if Overhaul is going to turn a new leaf. But also another thing is, how is this going to affect Eri? That's another thing we haven't thought about. So that's one thing I had to bring to the fold that I forgot to bring in my main video. But other than that, I'm gonna get out of here. So I'll see you guys later.